Welcome, everyone, to episode 92 of One Arrow, One Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide this is not a sequel or a threequel. What is this?
Quintology?
Sure. This episode, we're going to be talking about Far Cry 5.
Which isn't even the fifth Far Cry.
It's true. It's true. There have been. Are you talking about like the little sub things that they did, or are you talking about something else in general?
I'm talking about the fact that, like Assassin's Creed, they just ignore their number scheme sometimes.
True. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. This game was made by Ubisoft Montreal. It was a collaborative process. It was Ubisoft Montreal and Toronto that worked on this. So
all of Toronto, all
of Montreal came together and made this super team to create Far Cry 5.
Oh, that's a heavy lift for Canada. Well done.
Well done, Canada. You made a game. This game came out back in March of 2018. So it's a little ways back. As always, I played this on the PC. It was 63.8 gigabytes on the PC. I will note, though, I asked to download the high-res textures. So I think that's why there's looking at your install size, there's that discrepancy.
I agree. 50.4 gigabytes on the Xbox One. Definitely not high-res textures there. So
yeah, it's still a very meaty game. Very meaty.
Yes,
indeed. From 2018. What kind of game is this?
Golly gee, is it a first-person shooter?
I mean, you're right. I just added that it was an open-world first-person shooter. You know, we're not on rails. It's not I feel like it's definitely not like a Metro. And is there any other first-person shooters that we played? Oh, Prey. So, you know.
Yeah. I will throw a little asterisk that I did also write RPG elements.
Yeah.
In parentheses.
Fair. So fair. Yeah. And what about that game loop?
Fight back against a cult using a mix of brains and brawn.
Ooh. That's nice. I like what you wrote there. I just wrote complete objectives by any means available to you. In essence, something like stealth or the pew pew.
Yes.
There's a lot of pew pew in this.
Certainly. That is what the S is in an FPS.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. But shall we get into what we liked?
Yes. Why don't you begin, Chris? Give us some positives.
Well, I played this on the PC, so I mean, your results may definitely vary. But I thought the presentation overall, the game still looked pretty darn good. And for what is like a 4-year-old game at this point, I think Ubi does a great job in general with their engines. Which I'm surprised this. I guess did they take the name Far Cry from Crytek? Because didn't Crytek make the first one?
Yes.
And then but then Crytek took their engine.
Yep.
And went and did Crysis.
Yep.
And then Ubi's like, no, we're gonna keep doing Far Cry. I don't know.
Different cries.
Yeah, lots of crying, just different people making those cries. So yeah, I thought it looked really good. A very bright game, I would say.
Yeah.
Nice colors throughout the world, and you know, I think overall audio was decent stuff. What are some stuff that you liked, Tom?
I do want to just agree 100% with you that I think the game looked very good. The environment, the models, just in general, it was well put together.
Really? Even though you said it didn't look high res, whatnot.
No, but I can look at something and say this looks good for when it came out and what it's
Okay.
running on, right? Like
Okay. Yeah.
I know that my Xbox One is not going to put out,
Yeah.
the best of the best there. So
Fair.
I still thought it looked good, all things
Mm-hmm.
considered.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that were good, I think the opening sequence was really like engaging and like super cool. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really like grabbed you and like put you into this environment and said,
Yeah.
okay, this is who you are. This is what's happening.
Right.
And this stuff is bad. Like
Yeah.
this is a bad situation.
Bad Mama Jamma.
And
The
it did
word
it
for it.
all in a pretty quick way. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like it gave you as much plot as you kind of needed to get
Right.
get the story across, but it also did it at the same time in a high octane action sequency kind of way with the
Yeah.
car chase, and then you have like running and gunning. It's not
Yep.
just dialogue. Like it does
Right.
it does it in the same kind of way that I always say that I love Uncharted. But yes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're
It
playing
felt very
through the
much like a
cutscenes.
blockbuster. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. I get what you're saying. Yeah. For the most part, I agree with you. I also got to say, Tom, one thing I liked, I beat this game.
What?
Yeah.
In an hour?
In an hour. I actually beat it in my first 10 minutes. I beat the game.
I didn't know that was possible.
You can. You know what it is? Because I heard about this before. So I guess I kind of cheated a little bit.
Uh-huh.
The sequence when you get to the church and they
Okay.
tell you to arrest the guy. If you don't do anything, the game there's another cutscene that happens where they're like, "All right, let's get out of here," and the game ends. You see the credits roll.
No way.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So you have a choice right there. It's not forced. It's not also visible. But if you just leave your character there, he doesn't do anything, and everyone just like, all right, let's get out of here. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That's one of my things I liked.
That is super cool.
Yeah,
You
so
can
little
just
things like
walk
that.
away.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that sequence, what did you think about that? The big baddie in this.
Okay, so I did put I liked the world building.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of attention to detail in the world. I
Yeah.
think the characters are very compelling.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting antagonist. Like
Yeah.
I like him as a bad guy because it's like, oh yeah, this is like a very real kind of villain.
Yeah. Real wacko. He reminded me of there was this Hillsong, like there was like this mega church in New York City, and this guy Carl Lentz, he reminded me of him. Just like this, just charismatic, but like always like has his shirt off kind of thing. It was just weird, but okay. Now he's like, I don't know if he's in jail, but something happened to him. But yeah, it just seemed like people were just flocking to him for his cool looks and crazy ideas. And this is what their third, like, because Far Cry 3 I think cemented this series with them having like great villains.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the one where I forgot the actor's name, the guy from Orphan Black, and I think he was like supposedly Scorpion in the Marvel Spider-Man stuff, but he was like he started everything off with like the like the Far Cry having these crazy but cool villains that you fight. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't. I heard his guy is pretty good, but I don't think he has as high reverence as number three, villain number three in the series. And I guess in most recent times, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito is Far Cry 6's villain.
Right.
So I don't know. What else I like? I liked the shovel.
The
I thought
shovel?
that was a great weapon. It felt very satisfying, not like just beating the hell out of people with that shovel, like doing the silent takedowns. It was, you get that nice pung sound when you hit it right on the head. It was great.
All right. Attention to detail.
Yeah, like the little audio things right there. Did you get caught up with the customization, Tom?
I appreciated that it was relatively fast.
Okay.
There's like enough to make your character interesting, but you're also playing in first person. So does it really
Yeah.
matter?
Right.
I had the ability to give myself a mullet, so I took that opportunity.
Yeah.
Felt very on brand for this kind of game.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I did appreciate about customization of a sort is that you do have, once the game really gets started, they give you multiple paths to build a resistance. And you can save people, you can destroy property, you can capture forts, you can take these jobs. Like, I liked the idea that this was a game that said, okay, like you said, it's open world.
Yeah.
You need to stop this bad guy.
Yeah.
But how you go about stopping this bad guy, we're going to give you some freedom to really kind of play this game how you want to play it.
I agree with you. And I thought that was really cool. I think they gave you it was a great way to introduce the different types of mission types in the game. And I wish when I was playing this game, I was like, now that I'm thinking about it more, I'm like, man, if Arcane did this with their games, I think I would like them a lot more. Because I think they did a good job here of, again, when we talk about it a lot, but showing and not telling. Like, I literally feel like every Arcane game that we play, I'm just reading and I'm not engaging with the game. So, it was I appreciated that. And I like the fact that you can play this game in co-op once you get out of the, because I guess where we were, or at least where I ended up, I was still on like the smaller island.
Yes.
And then the world opens up even more after you do that. Kind of like how The Witcher 3 kind of did that too, where like you start off in like a small area and then you kind of blew up into this big world. And I actually also thought what was kind of cool was the way that they structured, which kind of falls back to what you were saying before, the way they structured the way you can attack bosses. It's not, you pick literally who you want to go after first.
Yeah.
Like, I think, can you actually go right to him? I don't know. I didn't get that far. So
yeah, me neither. But I mean, the implication was that he was one of the choices.
Right.
So
yeah. So and I thought the AI for was halfway decent. I'm not saying it was incredibly detailed. I played this game on easy, and I thought they were still kind of challenging. Like, they weren't just sitting ducks. Like, they actually like ran after me for quite some time too. I was like, what's going on? So, and I believe I forgot to write this down. I believe you can see your feet. So it's always a plus for me. Anything else you want to bring up here about positives, Tom?
Nope. I'm ready to move on.
Okay. So why don't you start us off?
So I don't know. I guess I disagree with you a little bit. I think the tutorial wasn't all that great.
Oh, okay.
I think first-person shooters have this tendency to go like, if you're playing this, you probably know how to play a first-person shooter. Here you go, bye. Yeah. Which is probably fair. Like, I mean, not every platforming game teaches you how to platform, right? Like, it's like you run, you jump. You know how to play Mario. You know how to play this. Right. So, I think genre games tend to do that, where they just kind of assume, you know how to play one of these games.
The other thing I would counter with that is it's also the 5th game in this series.
Yeah, for sure. But so, in a game series where the numbers clearly don't matter, right? I mean, half the Far Cry games don't have numbers, so
right.
Do they have better tutorials than those? I don't know.
I don't know.
Far Cry Primal or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like there's like a lot of stuff happening very fast,
Hmm.
and especially in the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
And that could be, I would think, obviously, you and we have some
Yeah.
experience playing video games, but it's not like the game ever asked me how hard I want the game to be. It just
Yeah.
kind of happens, and then you're going right.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then a lot of stuff's being thrown at you kind of really fast, and it's really intense. And while that's fun to experience, it
Yeah.
can be a lot, and you have to like kind of adjust to that. And a lot of the other games that we've played that have been first person shooters have kind of softballed you into the world. This
Yeah.
is not one of those games. So I guess
Hmm.
maybe that's a little bit of a warning to anybody who's like, I don't know about first person shooters. I
Yeah.
wouldn't start with this one.
Okay. Yeah. I yeah, it's interesting that you say that because again, I thought that like they gave you a nice little flavor of the types of missions that you would get. While it might be fast, like they spaced it out enough in that small island that you can kind of you know figure it out how you want to approach certain situations and stuff like that. Um, One of the things, and I agree with you, there was a lot of cutscenes, a lot of time where you're just kind of just sitting around waiting for this to happen. Like I think what was it like maybe yeah it was 10 minutes like because that was literally when I got the chance to beat the game. It was like
Mm.
10 minutes into the opening sequence.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But again, I get it. They're trying to set up this villain. They're trying to set up like the world that he's in. Because even though the Far Cry series is, they have numbers and stuff like that, they are not the same character. They're not the same villain and stuff like that. That is um, going on. There's no continuation of those
Yeah.
characters, from what I understand. So yeah, they have to do a lot of setup and that stuff. The other thing I didn't like is that there's a crafting system. I don't really like crafting systems.
The existence of a crafting system bothered you. Okay.
Just let me pick up some cool stuff and move on with my life. I don't need to be able to like, oh, I need to build this kind of gun or this kind of bandage or something like that. Just like like then I'm just all I'm doing is I'm picking up crap off the floor to
Mm,
try and build something else instead of like I'm trying to destroy property or take out these bad guys.
yeah. I
So
could see that.
you um what about you, Tom? What else did you not like?
Okay, so I noticed very quickly that many of the enemies are the exact same character model. And when I
Mm.
say the exact same character model, I mean literally the exact same character model.
Yeah.
And I go to myself like, would it be so hard to just give them different shirts? Like, just palette swap these guys. Like, it's not.
They gave you a decent customization system. Why couldn't they do that with the NPCs or your enemies?
Like
I don't get it.
I'm like, there's a sequence. It's like you're getting, tons of guys are running at you, and I
Right.
shot and killed like the same guy 6 times. Like I dropped him on the left side of the screen, then there he was on the right side of the screen. I
What's
dropped him
going
again.
on? Are they just saying that all? I believe they're all Caucasian people look the same. Is that basically what they're trying to say
It
here?
could be, or maybe like there's a uniform if you belong to this cult, and everyone cuts their hair the same and cuts and dyes their hair the same way, and
Right, right.
is of the same athletic build with the same complexion. I don't know.
Who knows?
Wearing the same shirt and jeans.
Well, Ubisoft Montreal and Toronto have to have a lot to explain about that because that makes no dang sense.
It just
Um,
it seemed it's such a easy thing to rectify in my mind,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. There is also no co-op crossplay, so we couldn't have played together if we were going to try this cooperatively, which is
Ew,
unfortunate. Yeah,
that's gross.
it's gross. It's real gross.
It's a missed opportunity.
Seriously, if they're going to put co-op in there, let everyone play together. But,
Indeed.
2018, maybe they weren't really thinking about that. Ubi was too busy thinking about NFTs and stuff like that. And who knows?
I wonder if Far Cry 6 has it.
That's a great question. Maybe. but it's not on Game Pass, so I wouldn't know.
Nope.
Anything else you want to bring up here, Tom?
As with all open world games, I always fall into a trap of not knowing exactly what I should be doing next. It's not always obvious. And as a consequence, I end up spending a lot of time wandering around in the wilderness trying to figure out what to do next. So, there's that.
Yeah. Fair enough. I kind of agree. I agree with you. And I think kind of piggybacking on the cutscene stuff, I just didn't feel like I got into the game so much. Like it was there. Like, yeah, we got through some action sequences, stuff like that. But, I didn't get to potentially interact with the bosses in some way, shape, or form. I was just in this still starter level. So, yes. And, it's probably also because I stink, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But cool. So, with our other thoughts here, I'm just going to let you know How Long to Beat says that this game takes about 18 or 29.5 hours to beat with some side story, with some of the side missions and stuff like that.
It's a pretty wide swing there.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Yeah. And it might be because some side missions might take a little bit longer. If you play cooperatively, who knows? There could be a bunch of things that factor into those large discrepancies.
I will acknowledge that I had a feeling that this was going to be a very long game based on the 4 enemy bosses and how little I accomplished in that first hour.
Yeah.
So it does not surprise me to hear that it takes, 30 hours to beat.
Right. Anything else you want to bring up though? Just based on that?
It just first person shooters have a tendency to be short games. But when you merge them with open world stuff, they balloon out in time. So
yeah, especially like traveling in between your objectives, things like that. Yeah.
I tend to like shorter, tighter experiences as far as my games go. I want to play the movie game, not the not the television series.
Right. Fair enough.
So, that's that.
Well, is that? Because we got to find out, Tom, are we going to keep playing Far Cry 5 or are we just going to throw it into the discount bin that is Game Pass? I don't know. But before we get to that, we wanted to let you know about our spectacular sponsor, Winner Winner. Winner Winner is a live arcade claw machine game available on Android and iOS, and it's 100% skill-based. Trust me, if you see me play my games, you know I'm not that great, and I still have won games on my first try. There's hundreds of prizes, even featuring gaming merch from Nintendo. Pick your prize from choices in your particular game, or bank your earnings with tickets to redeem any other prize you want from their wide selection. And for all you lovely people listening or watching our show, you can get bonus tokens on your first app token purchase. Download and create your account, then use the link in the episode's description to enter promo code DALE after you sign in. Check it out. It's clawsome.
I could tell you, Chris, and it shouldn't surprise anyone based on the way I've been talking. This is the recipe for a game that I will never finish. Right? Like the open world, wander around, do the thing game is a game I never finish. It's not even a game I finish when I like the game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you make a Star Wars game like this, and it's going to be trouble for me,
Tom will never leave his house. He's just going to be dealing with this.
Yeah, no, just be living in the desert in Tatooine or something. So I have a few games like this, on my to-do list already, and I really don't feel, and you mentioned this, I don't feel like we spent enough time iterating the actual game loop to get hooked. Like, I think the premise is really cool. Yeah. I can tell that this game is the world building and stuff is really top notch, and these characters are going to be very interesting. And I could get very invested in this, but like, I don't know. I the first hour didn't make me care enough to go back. So
yeah. I I'm in agreement with you. I don't think I'll be picking this game back up. But if any one of our listeners happens to have this game on PC, has this on Game Pass, and wants to play this game with me cooperatively, yeah, I might give it a shot because I could see co-op being fun, like just raining like bullets and shovels everywhere. That would be great. Be a good old time. But other than that, though, I'm probably going to pass because, like you said, it's a big time commitment. I'm still trying to beat Cyberpunk, and I need to beat that before anything else because the game got good, and I'm going to keep playing that.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It's the problem with these, games like this, that there are a lot of games like this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think about this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, send us a comment down below and we'll try to read and respond. I promise. Maybe. Anyway, QTB is part of the 1H1D is part of the QTB network. And if you like gaming podcasts, be sure to check out Quit the Build, a weekly gaming news podcast. And they got some other great content out there. TikTok, they do a lot more streaming stuff and all that. And articles, we've done articles on that too. Well, I have anyway. And to see the whole lineup, check out quitthebuild.com/network. Whew. All right. Tom, we got to spin that surprising button, don't we?
I believe that's what we usually do, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. But we're not doing that this week because we have a request from another Tom, not this Tom. Tom from Bad Elephant Gaming, a podcast friend of ours, who requested that we try out Deathloop.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was the big game that came out for the PlayStation early, and it just dropped to Game Pass recently. So we're gonna check that out. We're going to give you guys our thoughts on that first hour. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.